Hi students, I wanted to go over a few techniques in Adobe Illustrator, specifically gradients and gradient meshes. This is for your last project. I'll be creating two videos. First, this video on gradients, and then I'm going to create a video on your last project. So I am importing a. This is actually not a photograph, but I'm importing an apple into this Illustrator document. So just a few things about importing. If you go to File, Place, you could import your graphic. So you just find your graphic and then import it into the document. Or you could literally just drag your file onto your document and then it will place it in the document. So yeah, so we've got our apple, and what I want to do is I want to put it in a layer, in the first layer, and then I'm going to put a layer above that, and I'm going to lock that layer. So if you see up at the top right, I'm locking the layer. And actually what I want to also do is I'm going to copy this, Command C, Command V. I'm going to copy this so I can pull colors from it. So I'm locking it, and then I'm going to double click the layer, and I'm going to dim the layer a little bit. Oops. Sorry, that is not what I want. I want to put this. I'm going to put this in a second layer. And then I'm going to dim the bottom layer. So I'm double clicking it, dimming the bottom layer. So in that second layer is where I'm going to put my artwork. So my first job is to get the pen tool, and I'm going to start kind of tracing out this. Let me turn off the color, so it's just black, and I'm just tracing the outline of this apple. If you can see, so I've got the traced outline of the apple, and what I want to do is pull a color, maybe the darkest color. So I'm pulling the darkest color of the apple. Oops, that's not it. There it is. So I pulled the darkest color of the apple, and then what I want to do is I'm looking for like where the light source is. So if you notice, it's lighter over here and down here. So I'm going to get my gradient mesh tool, which is right here, and I'm going to put a little bit of a mesh here. And now if I use my direct selection tool, I can move the way this mesh is shaping. So if I click on that point in the mesh and I change the color, see, now we start to get the different tone. So I'm going to pick this color. Oops, that's not the right color. Nope. Let me pick a cooler color. So now I have that kind of tone in the mesh. Now I'm going to add another mesh around this line here, and I'm going to make that darker. So it's similar to the way this apple looks around the edges. And then I'm going to put another mesh point around this line here. And then I'm going to cool that area off, make it a little lighter. So now we've got this kind of, shape going in with the apple here. Now, to kind of create this shading or this light area, I am simply going to go back to my layer, and then I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to draw in that light layer here. And I made it lighter. Actually, the best thing to do is if I go to my gradient, so I'm going to go to create a gradient. Oops. I'm going to double click this icon and make that lighter. And make this lighter too. Now, with the gradient tool here, I could play around with the lightness, and I could even move the shading around. So there, I've got that So I've got that kind of um, highlight going on my apple. There's a lot more I have to do to the apple, but so up here I could add another mesh point. Oops. And I can make it even darker. Um, so now it, that's getting there. Maybe this needs to be adjusted here. I think I think this needs to be adjusted here. That's starting to get the feeling. So it's a lot of just playing around. Um, so I'm going to select that point there. And then I'm going to select, I'm going to not select actually, I'm drawing in that So you can see how the apple is coming along. Down here, we can put a mesh point. Oops. We can also put a mesh point over here. And then we could put another one right here. Oops. Right here. See, so There's a lot more I can do with this. I still have to play around. Um, I still have to play around with the apple itself. Um, Actually, I could put a mesh there. That looks better, actually. And then that looks better, actually. That. So, and then right here, right here, there's a highlight. There's also a highlight here. And a highlight over here. Okay, so it's starting to get there. It's starting to take shape. Um, okay, I hope this helped you out. So what I used is this is the gradient tool, and um, if you use the gradient slider, you can change the color of the gradient um, on each end. If you double click the circles on the gradient, you can also use the gradient tool here. You could move the center point so how they mix. You could even press Option on the circle and add another color to the gradient. You could even go to the edge and rotate your gradient. You could even change the size, adjust the size of the bar so it could, you know, move the how close the gradient colors are to each other. So that's the gradient